Welcome to tonight's race number 1 of the chase of the NASCAR Pro Series final. We are here at Chicagoland Speedway for the Geico 200. We're doing 133 laps today. Joined in the booth with Jamie Christensen and Dustin Phillips. How's it going, guys?
Going good.
It's good to see you guys all. We're all back together. I know, Dustin, you had the week off last week, so it's good to have you back in the booth today.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. It's good to be back, man. Looking forward to this one for sure.
Yeah, race number 1 of the chase, man. I'm excited. We got 4 races to go before the end of the series, and I know we've got some guys fighting for a championship. Let's look at that chase grid here. First place, Calvin Allison got those wins, got him those extra bonus points. He's in first place right now. All these drivers, top 13 drivers, are all separated between 1 point going into tonight's race. And then, you know, next week we'll have the points differences from whatever they finish tonight. But pretty strong group of guys here. What do you think? Well, practice has just started. The guys are on the track. You guys got audio okay? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I'm waiting to see if any of these guys are going to run that high line. You know, in the sister league over at Red Light on Monday, we just ran Chicagoland in the trucks, and definitely the fastest way around the track was around the lower lines, but some guys were taking a look at the higher line, trying to make that work after they seen Kyle Larson in the last Homestead race make the high line work so well. But it'll be interesting to see what line these guys are going to run.
You know, this might be a shorter track when it comes to, you know, comparing it to the big super speedways, but it's a fast track. You're definitely on the throttle a lot here.
Yeah, definitely. Going about 200 going into the corner, you know, and your entry into that corner has got to be spot on. And, you know, I did a few laps around here, try to compare it to what we did on Monday, and it seems a little bit tighter, if you will. But the one thing that we noticed significantly on Monday was tire fall off. I mean, you're good about for five laps, but after that, tires go off pretty quickly.
Yeah, I heard a couple drivers mentioning that, you know, if they miss their entry just by a couple of feet, it really just messes up your second half of the corner. You get real tight, and you got to really let off to keep it off the wall. So I think guys are going to just have to get in their rhythm. I'm assuming these guys will probably get single file pretty quick. Yeah, it's probably pretty uncomfortable when you're 2 and 3 wide. But you know, with last week and the amount of cautions that we had last week, you never know.
Yeah, and like we talked about in last week's race, going into those corners, when a guy is on you and taking that air off that rear spoiler, it's going to be the same thing here again, especially going into one. Because if you're a little bit slower, or you just let off the gas before the guy in front of you, and they're able to pull up to the back end of that car, one, you run the risk of, you know, there being an incident, and second of all, you just run the risk of getting loose, just period, by them taking the air off. So, gonna have to watch these guys and see how they react to how they, you know, how the other drivers around them and in the draft, because it's one thing to go around here single file and qualifying and practice, but you put a group of 20 guys together, it gets awfully busy there.
A lot of cars sitting on the outside of pit road there, just waiting to see if they need to go back out. Right now, we got last week's winner, Mark Bratcher, sitting on the front row with a 27.926. Not far behind him right now, Nate LaFleur with a 27.957.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that really kind of surprises me. And I'm not trying to knock on Nate. I just know he had a heck of a time on Monday. So I didn't think that was his. I didn't think Chicagoland was his favorite track, but you know, maybe it is in the Gen 6. I'm curious about your thoughts, though, Dustin. I mean, you know, if the car qualifies well, that doesn't necessarily equal races well. What are your thoughts on that?
Looks like Dustin is having some mic problems. He did drop out of the room here.
Well, I just thought I was talking to myself. So, well, what do you think about it, Mike?
I wasn't even listening to what the question was, to be honest.
Oh, you're killing me.
I was
you guys are killing me.
I was having some camera issues. I'm trying to get everything sorted here, but looks like I'll just unplug my controller and oh no, there it goes crazy again. Hold on.
It's like I'm playing cards with my uncle's kids or something.
All right, putting down the Xbox controller. I don't want to touch that again.
All right, so here's the question. Does a qualifying car that qualifies well equal a good race car?
Well, it definitely equals somebody who knows how to run by themselves and put up a quick time. I think you mentioned tire wear and how important it is here. You know, everyone's driving the same car. There are a couple differences, obviously, with steering ratios and such, but all these guys I've got the same machinery underneath them, so I think the cars are going to be pretty close when it comes to performance, but obviously the qualifiers, they know their lines, they know their tracks, they get a lot of the seat time on there, so it's going to let them put that quick time on. Does it necessarily mean they're going to be good, you know, when we get out into race conditions? Well, who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, what I'm really interested in and is seeing is, you know, our winner last week with Blatcher, he was pretty confident coming into Chicagoland. You know, he quoted something around 30 wins there out on the iRacing regular series, and I think he may be one to contend here, and I believe he's on the pole, isn't he?
Yeah, right now with 3 minutes to go, he is still up front.
Well, I think I know who my pick's going to be tonight.
Well, let's since you talk about picks, let's take a look at the Battle of the Booth. Looks like I'm still out front,
Look
guys,
how
but
well
yeah, you still are out back, buddy. But
fellas, I'm back. I had to go down pit road and talk to a few drivers, but everything good down on that end, so ready to get this race started here in a few.
Nice. We're just about to do our picks here, and last week looks like Jamie came in last. So Jamie, buddy, you're picking first. You picking the 946?
I am picking the 946. Mark Blatcher. He won last week. He said he's awesome at Chicagoland. Got fastest qualifying time. He looks like my guy tonight.
Awesome. Dustin, buddy, you're up.
Actually, Mike, I beat you last week.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm up. Nice. Let's see here. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna pick up 2 weeks in a row, man. I'm going with James Skelton again. You know, he didn't get me that first place finish last week that I was looking for, but I'm gonna let him redeem himself here this week. So I'm going with the 86, James Skelton.
Mike, did you notice Dustin really enjoyed informing you that he beat you?
Oh
last
yeah,
week?
yeah. He didn't let that one go. That's for sure.
Well, it doesn't happen much, so I have to get it where I can. So.
I understand.
All right, I guess I'm gonna go with the tonight. I'm gonna pick old Nate LaFleur and see if he can. He's been pretty good here all week, so we'll see if I can pick him. And I don't think I've picked him this year one time, so we'll go with him again and see how he does here tonight.
Sounds good. Well, our choices have been made, so you know, first race of the chase. You've got your race here, Jamie, to redeem yourself. We got a guy who's really batting 100 right now, so you know, if any week was going to break that streak, it would be this week.
Hey, I'm excited. I think this is the one.
I feel like we said that last week.
We've said that almost every race. There's a reason why I'm in last.
Jamie, I'm looking forward to see how you do tonight. I hope you fare well, even though we're competing.
Well, thanks, Dustin. You know, I do too. I'd like to at least make a showing here. Between you and Mike, you guys are running off with it.
So we've got about 20 seconds left in qualifying. Looks like Nate is not on the track, so a couple drivers turning laps right now. Mike Abbott Nelson Rivera, Brent Rogers, Kevin O'Brien, and Butch Frazier all moving on the track. They got about 9 seconds to cross that line, see if they can take that pole away. And that's going to do it. Just while they're gridding up, let's take a look at the remaining races this schedule. We got Chicagoland right now. Then next week we're going to Daytona. I know Jamie's looking forward to get out on the track. Then we're going to Auto Club, and we're finishing up at Homestead to round out the season. So excited to get those races in as these cars are now on the track gridding up. Alright, cars are just about on track. We got about 27 seconds. The guys are taking their times, checking their game plans, making sure they're ready to go. With that, let's go ahead and go through our starting grid. First row, we got Mark Bratcher, last week's winner. Didn't update the logos there. He should have a win logo by his name. Driving that Toyota. On the outside, we got Nate LaFleur in a good old Ford.
In row 2, we got the 987 of Trent Potter and the 82 of Mike Abbott.
Row number 3, we got the 86 of James Skelton, and on the outside, we're looking at the 905 of Craig Sykes.
In row number 4, we have the 15 of John Fershing Jr. and the 930 of Daniel Haney.
Row number 5, we've got the 4 of Ricky Goodman, and on the outside, we got Nelson Rivera.
Row 6, it'll be the 959 of Bruce Potter and the 8 of Brent Rogers.
Row number 7, we got WOW Racing's Brian Wynn, and on the outside, Kevin O'Brien.
We got the 904 of Jordan Beck and the 9 of Kevin O'Cochran.
Row number 9, we've got William Long on the inside. Outside, we're looking at Jeff File.
Row 10, it'll be the 555 of Butch Frazier and the 954 of Keith Haney.
Row number 11, we got Raymond Edge and the 2 of Joshua Buckley on the outside.
And rounding out the last row here, shotgun on the field, didn't get to take a lap, is the 924 of Chris Sharp.
Well, looks like the lights are off. These guys are lining up 2 by 2 here. We're going to be taking that green flag.
Yeah, Mike, as we get ready to go here, it's definitely going to be exciting if we definitely have some long green flag runs tonight. I'm seeing tire wear is going to be a big thing, so going to be able to see whoever manages their stuff the best.
All right, boys, let's get this one done. We got the green flag drop, and here they go.
Looks like everybody's playing nice here, going to the one.
Mark Bratcher liking that inside line, is able to get around Nate, pulls up in front and gets that whole track there. Guys are kind of duking for position there, just back on 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, I noticed he used the apron, which, you know, you can obviously do here. Some guys like it, some guys don't. Some guys it seems to disrupt the car a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think get on that apron. If you're practicing and you're good at it, you might be comfortable with it. But I think typically you get that rear end real squirrely, and it can really upset the car. But you know, the 86 jumps down right to the shoulder. Also wanted to mention to our viewers, and again apologize to the drivers, trading paints is down, so we might see some different paint jobs than we're used to. The guys were not able to upload their paints before the race, and I was not able to download the current ones because of the service being down. Some of the last week's paints are still there, so some of these drivers will look familiar to you for sure. What do you think? These guys are running pretty hard up front. You think tire wears are gonna, with these guys jockeying, too wide, you think it's gonna use up their stuff a little bit quicker?
I definitely think it's gonna affect it, but these guys have been practicing all week, so they don't know what the cars are capable of, and we'll just have to see who manages that the best. I mean, you want to race hard, but you got to also think about, hey man, I gotta have my stuff here for a little while. I can't just run my tires off. So we'll see. Maybe some of these guys. Times are definitely going to start to fall off pretty quickly, but we'll have to see kind of what choices might be made tonight on pit road. Is going to be a determining factor as well.
Yeah, what about that high line though, Dustin? I mean, you can save the tires a little bit up there. We did see some guys with the right fronts with about 86%, after a full run. So to your point, they really do wear down, but you can do things out on the track that kind of help you with that, right?
Yeah, of course. Definitely, running that higher line is a little less stress on the tires. But right now we see these guys. I've heard some of them talk about some of the middle group too as the runs go on. So we may see guys all over the track, and I'm actually kind of surprised that the guys have stayed at the top. As long as they have, pretty, intense battles. So, we'll see guys starting to fall off probably here as, the tires starting to wear, different strategies are being made. So, it's going to be kind of exciting to see how hard right now the 81 and the 987 are running each other up front for the lead. So, we'll see how long they can withstand on these set of tires and see how it goes over a long run.
I tell you, I already see cars getting a little bit squirrely. The 82 Mike Abbott taking that low line just a couple laps ago when he was underneath Mark Bratcher. It looked like he got a little loose there and almost came up into Mark, but they did a good job and everyone kept their cool and back to racing in line here.
Yeah, I think that's the other part of it too, and we've talked about this in the past. You run that high line, coming out of the corner, you're actually in the spot where the car that's running the lower line wants to be, exiting the corner. So if you don't have that triple monitor set up, if you don't have that perspective or field of view, it can make things interesting.
We heard earlier on talking on TeamSpeak, Mark is another one of those racers that uses that Oculus Rift, so definitely like hearing those guys getting that different experience and that full VR support. So I like looking to see that he can perform with that kind of equipment. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I probably know somebody that's got one for sale.
Yeah, on eBay right now if you want to check it out. Just search my name. Only one bidder so far. So we're at lap 10. These guys have been doing a pretty good job, racing pretty hard. No real incidents on the track. I like seeing that.
Yeah, guys, and I have to be honest, I was talking to Nate a little earlier, or just heard him speaking, that he didn't have too good of a long-run car. But right now, he's starting to stretch his lead almost to a second over second place, Trent Potter. So, don't know if he's going to run his tires off or he's got a game plan, but definitely showing a lot of strength there early.
Well, that second place car has really got his hands full too, then, which is probably helping Nate out a little bit. He's got three under a blanket there right behind him, and they're pushing him up the track as he's trying to just find some speed there. But Mike Abbott's underneath him looking for that second spot.
And speaking of Mike Abbott, it's good to see him. The last couple of weeks, man, he's really put on a pretty good effort. So we'll see if he can continue that here tonight and, you know, end up with a good finish, because I definitely want to see him back not in victory lane, definitely up towards the front a lot more.
Pretty crazy to see those cars just swap position there. Second went to fifth, fourth went to third, fifth went to second. That was a pretty crazy, hairy moment there crossing the start-finish line. So first race of the chase, and oh, we got a car in the wall. And that's going to bring out our first caution.
And that's not good for the 946 and Mark Brattress.
I don't want to say it.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, looks like Mark just got the car a little tight, put it in the wall, and bounced off, and was collected by the 987. See if we can take another quick look at that. See him making that pass on the 86, gets down really low. Might maybe push the corner a little bit too much. You can see that car just drift off. You can see the exhaust light up. He gets off the gas, but it's too late. Bounces it off the wall. Let's see if we can ride on board with that one. You can hear him blipping the throttle, and
yeah, that's real unfortunate. It's probably not the words he's using right now, but you know, they just drift, you know, and honestly, letting off the gas doesn't help with that turning either, especially when you're that far in the corner. I mean, not that giving it, giving it more gas sometimes will get it to catch and come around, but I think he was already past the point. It didn't matter what he did, if he got off at it or stayed in it.
yeah, I think you bring up a good point. You can hear him jump off the gas and try and get that front end to bite and turn. You know, basically it lurches the car forward, and you get that extra weight on the front tires. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And we talked about it early in the race. You just miss that entry just by a little bit, and it will just totally throw off that second half of the corner. But he got it back to the pits, doesn't tow. It looks like he uses his quick repair, stays on the lead lap. So you know, that's good. He's going to be back on the track there.
Yeah, I'm still confident that he can make his way through the field. In fact, you know, if you look at last week's race, he was involved in an incident there. You know, it wasn't his doing, unlike this one was, you know, definitely due to him. But, you know, he's we've seen him bounce back. I have full confidence he'll make his way back up to the front.
You have to say that you picked him.
That's true.
I think I'm with you, Jamie. I think
yeah.
You know, he's definitely bounced back pretty good last week, and you know, he's one of our newer drivers. But I'll tell you what, he's showing us he's got a lot of speed. So when you said you were picking him tonight, you know, he was, you know, I was thinking about possibly might be one of mine. So I think it was definitely a good choice, and we'll just have to see how he recovers here and getting hungry and maybe able to change his strategy a little bit and be around at the end.
Yeah, I think you guys bring up a good point, and yeah, he was excellent last week. He showed his talent, and he's been super confident. And I know he's been putting up some practices, and he's really been gung ho. And so far, it seems like he's going to be a really good addition to the league. I know he's super excited about getting on board next season and getting some sponsors on board. And I know he's got a bunch of applicants, teammates that are interested in joining as well. Unfortunately, in the chase, we do have that hold on our application program, but I'm sure they're going to be jumping in next season.
No, he uses a spotter too, doesn't he, Mike?
He did last week for sure. I don't know if he's using one today, but he did last week for sure, and that That's actually something we're gonna look into for next season. And if drivers have spotters that they want to get into the league to make it easier to spot for them, we might have to think up a designation for spotters, maybe like a number series like 9s or rookies, and we can make something happen for spotters, get them in the league and make it available for our racers. So
yeah, he's definitely got his.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's, like you guys said, he's definitely got his work cut out for him. I think he's gonna find it a little bit more interesting now, a little bit deeper in the field. To be quite honest with you, I mean, he's got guys like Brent Cowboy Rogers, John Frisching Jr., and those CRC cars, Brian Wynn, and those are just to name a few. That those guys are fast, and they're just not, they're not gonna pull over and let him take the spot. So I think he's gonna have his hands full.
Just before we get back to green flag here, do you guys see that Nate LaFleur stayed out?
He came in and took 4.
Did he? Because my thing says he did not pit. So okay, cool. I was gonna say it'd be kind of weird for him not.
15-second pit stop.
All right,
so.
Cool.
But your buddy Ricky Goodman stayed out and led a lap, so kind of back to his usual ways. So it's good to see Ricky. He's been pretty quick here tonight, actually. In practice, he wasn't too bad. So we know Ricky. He'll be around at the end.
Always thinking about the points game, that guy. Good way to think.
Exactly.
All right, looks like the pace car is going to jump in here. We're going to be back to green.
On these restarts, guys, I mean, I don't know about you, Mike or Dustin, but I've got it flat-footed for sure if you wanted to, and maybe even just blurping it off of 3 or 4 on this first lap. It's a fast lap.
Yeah, Dan, you're exactly right. You're definitely trying to get all you can, man, because shortly after that, you're definitely off the throttle a little bit more than probably what you want to, because the car just
Kevin
becomes
Cochran.
tight.
And that's going to bring out the second caution of the evening. Let's see if we can take a look and see what happened there. It looks like Kevin got turned. Well, I didn't catch the car that turned him. Let's see if we can take another look.
Yeah, it's Craig Sykes, I think, got him.
Yeah, I
Yep.
believe you're right, Dustin.
Yep,
905.
sure. See if we can go on board with Craig Sykes. Yeah, it looks like just one of those racing deals. Looks like he took that turn just a little bit harder than the car in front of him, and those two tires kind of just touched there. It's unfortunate to see. Like to see our drivers give each other a little bit more room than that, but it happens.
That was a real close one there from Mark Bratcher. He had it all unfolding in front of him, and he almost caught the tail end of that one, but he comes out of there with no damage, so good for him.
Yeah, it's never what you want to see after you just use your quick repair, eh? An accident right in front of you.
Absolutely not, and I noticed Josh Buckley got loose there too as part of that.
Maybe just avoiding getting off the gas.
Yeah, he was down on the apron, and I think as a result, at the speed he was going, still turning left, just the back end of the car came around a little bit and see him get off the track, and looks like he got squared away and just back out there.
All right, just looking at our schedule once again. So next week we are running Daytona. It is sponsored by the American Cancer Society. We'll have some information about that next week, and maybe set up some donation links and where you can kind of go to support that that great cause. And then our last 2 weeks, we don't have information to share yet, but Homestead is going to be sponsored by, I believe, Real Deal Graphics.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to take a look at Bruce Potter during that, but he went on the inside to avoid Buckley, and the speed he was going, I thought he was for sure going to crush that inside wall, and he somehow manages to straighten that car off about 10 feet before the inside wall there and keep the car clean.
I didn't see that. So you think these guys are thinking fuel mileage right now? Got saving gas or anything like that?
I don't think so. Not at this point. That's just my thought. You know, I mean, we're only, what, 23 laps into this, Mike?
Yeah, that's correct, 23.
Yeah, so 23 laps, you know, I don't think they're thinking fuel strategy. I think they're thinking track avoidance.
Yeah. We had that good stretch right at the beginning. I think we'll, you know, knock on wood, this will be the one where we'll get some green flag laps clicked off here. So did anybody hear from Calvin, as in why he's not at this race? Just working, maybe?
I did not.
I wonder if he's in the chat. He normally is. No, he's not watching on live. Normally when he's at work, he is watching live, too.
It is close to the holiday here in the States, so maybe that was played a factor in it. But regardless of the reason, I'm sure you know, he'll be back next week.
All right, pace car's about to dive in.
Noticed a little bit of checkup there on that restart.
Yeah, just a little bit. Once again, Nate gets a great start. Might have something to do with the car on the outside. I don't know if there's a little bit of teamwork going on there, but they get in line pretty quick.
You know, one guy we haven't really talked about a whole lot, other than him getting a little bit loose earlier on, was Mike Abbott. He's got a strong showing here tonight in Chicagoland. You know, the season hasn't gone exactly the way that Mike wanted it to go, but he's making a good run of it tonight.
Yeah, and from what I know of Mike, I think this is probably one of the stronger tracks. I know he's really good at this, you know, this style of racetrack where car entry or corner entry and carrying speed through the corner really kind of sets up your lap.
You still see guys continue to use that apron, and it's kind of interesting to see. You know, one of the questions, Mike, we got in the Twitch chat is somebody wanting to know how you get into this. This is basically a computer simulation game. It's not available on the Xbox or PlayStation or anything like that. You got to have a PC for it, Mac or PC. So check it out, iRacing.com. A lot of single file action.
Yeah, I was going to just say that these guys, you know, a couple quick cautions there, and they decide it's time to kind of get in line and maybe turn some laps here. I think that's the highest we've seen Josh Buckley, I believe, so far this race, though.
It is, you know, and you know, reality sets in after a little bit. I mean, you only got one quick repair, and there's rumor that there's going to be even less maybe next year. You got to take care of the equipment. I mean, you can't just go out there and bang the doors and you know, make foolish decisions. I mean, this is a little bit of patience. It requires a little bit of patience. I know that's difficult for some of these guys. You know, being race car drivers, they're there to race, and asking to have patience is kind of a difficult thing to do. But you know, you're not going to win on lap 23. So.
Ooh, as Buckley gets real low and pushes up on the Mike. Mike wasn't giving him any extra room there for sure, but just some mild contact. Mike keeps it off the wall.
Yeah, we've seen the 2 and the 82 find each other on the track a time or two.
2, 3, 4. Some good racing going back. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Right now, Keith Haney's looking to move his way up. He started pretty far back for what we're used to from Keith. Right now, looking to get around the 8 of Brett Rogers here, giving him a little bit of pressure. Looking to the outside there.
You know, it's kind of interesting. You know, every league's kind of got them. Some guys will, you know, if you're faster, they're just going to give you that spot. You got other guys that are going to make you work for it. And, you know, I think it's just one of those deals. Brent race is hard. I mean, if you want that position, you got to come around and you got to do it cleanly. He's not there to move over for you. So, you know, and Keith is a smart driver. He knows his way around the track. He knows what it takes. So he's gonna let Rogers know that he's there, but he's gonna do his thing.
Yeah, Brett's definitely gonna make you work for it, and you know, he does that with everybody. It doesn't matter who you are on the track. He's gonna make you drive around him. And Keith was in a tough spot there. He's got Jeff File in front of him. He had Brett Rogers on the inside. That was a tough little position to be in, but makes it work as now he's looking to get underneath or outside of Jeff File here. Oh, Jeff gets a little loose. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Some really heavy damage there on the on Keith's car. Front end is definitely pushed in on Keith's car there.
Yeah, you know, and that J-File Racing, you know, team, they've been at it all season long. They haven't necessarily had great speed. Don't get me wrong, there have been instances where you know, Jeff's run real strong here in our series. Just here as of late, it just seems to be, you know, trying to get that car tweaked a little bit. It's something that I know him and his team are working on. So, you know, hopefully he'll bounce back from that and get that J-File Chevrolet back out there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we did not see a caution, and we got two cars pretty crippled now, trying to just hang it together until they can come in and get that repair done. But it looked like Jeff just got a little bit loose, got off the gas, and Keith couldn't get it wound up in time. But
yeah, just speaking over, talking to the crew chief of the 954, Keith was definitely apologetic. He didn't think Jeff was going to go to the bottom like that and was going to pass him on the high side. And it's just one of them racing deals. But he was pretty upset at himself. But these guys will bounce back, man. And I just hate to kind of see a hard racing deal like that and not have a caution. But we'll see if these guys can bounce back and make their way back up towards the front.
It's actually
Dustin.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Dustin, you know, as a former race car driver, you've got a car in front of you like that, though. And, I mean, what's your reaction time when somebody is, and you're not expecting it? I mean, what's going through your mind? I mean, how fast do you have to react when something like that happens?
Oh, it's got to be split. You got to stick with it. You can't be, you know, I think back to as simple as, you know, when you're going through driver's ed, man, and you're nervous as crap, and you're driving that, you know, whatever you're driving, probably a little Ford Taurus, I don't know, that's what I drove, but you're riding around with a guy, and you know, he says, hey man, you got to make this split decision, and that yellow light comes on at the stoplight, and you're like, do I go or do I not, you know? Here, obviously, it's a lot faster, and you have to make those decisions quick, but you have to make that decision and make it quick, and it's got to be there. And you know, like I said, Keith said that might have been a little his fault. He decided to go one way and didn't realize that Jeff was going to go way he did, and kind of one of those racing deals, but kind of tough between both of those. And, like I said, these guys will fight back hard. We'll get a caution or maybe through traffic. These guys will bounce back and get those cars repaired.
But Dustin, you talk about them coming back and bouncing back. I mean, but now you're driving a slow car. It's busted up. You're not worried. You're not racing the track. You're not racing anybody in front of you. You're just upset. Oh, and we got a caution, so we'll come back to that.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a caution, and that was right in front of the 59-54 again. So, he dodged a bullet there, and I think, as slow as or as damaged as this car was, he was able to keep some of the speed. He's sitting 13th, but we'll see. These guys can get in there and get these cars repaired, and hopefully not have too much more damage.
It looks like the 911 had a car outside of him. Maybe didn't see him there. Looks like he came up in front of him. Wasn't any room really given, but let's see if we can take another angle at that.
Well, maybe he can get himself some Buffalo Wild Wings and, get a refreshment and get back out there.
See if we can go on board with the 8 of Brett Rogers and see what his view was for that wreck.
Looks like that 8's got some damage.
It looks like he had some damage before the incident, but
Yep.
he does drive through the car here, I believe.
Literally.
I guess that was weird. Unless I just missed the timing there.
Well, it's good for him. I mean, could have been a lot worse. I mean, you're going to take those things when they happen, when they go your way. So, nothing bad on Rogers there. I mean, if he was able to avoid it and didn't recognize it as a major hit, I mean, good for him. And hopefully he'll get the minor damage that he had repaired, get back out there.
Let's take a look at Keith Haney. Looks like Keith got his car repaired there, and let's go ahead and check in on Jeff File as well.
Well, can we talk about Keith Haney real quick?
Sure can.
Well, Keith Haney is our extra one. If I recall correctly, he just got into the chase and he's out there. So, I believe is there such a thing as the last spot in the chase?
Yeah, you're right. He was our 13th. Originally we were looking to add 12 drivers to the chase, and Keith Haney kind of filled that 13th spot. The reason for that was Keith joined us halfway through the season, and he's hit every single race since being here. He finished in the top 20 of points, and he got a win. So, we went ahead and gave him we'll call it the Kyle Busch rule, where normally we do require drivers to meet a certain amount of races to make the chase, but he has met 100% of the races since joining, and we wanted to give him an opportunity to see what he could do here. So he got that 13th spot, so to speak. He is technically in 5th right now because of his win, but he did fill that extra spot. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Kyle Busch went ahead and won himself a full cup this year. So and he missed 11 races.
Yeah, and I'm just I think the fans may have some other thoughts about that, but never mind that. Yeah,
well, you can't really argue that Kyle Busch is a talented driver. But yeah, I don't know if I think he should have won the whole thing or not, but my wife would disagree.
Yeah, he is a talented driver. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the guy's a will man for sure. He pretty much And I don't think it's an exaggeration. He wins a lot of races, and what is it, Sprint Cup, Nextel,
It doesn't
or
matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter
yeah,
what he's in.
it doesn't matter. The guy is just winning left and right. Truck Series, he won the owner truck championship too. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people say he shouldn't be racing those sub series. He should be sticking to what to the series that he's in. He does a lot of racing and tries to win as much as he can. But you know, he's got a family now. He's got a kid to think about. So maybe next year we see him take a couple races off. But knowing Kyle Busch, man, he's gonna race as many as he can.
You know, there's got to be a ton of competition in that family now. 2 champions. Who races? Who wins more?
Yeah.
Who's done more? You know, the only thing Kyle hasn't done now is Indy.
That's true. It could be next year. And here we go back to green. Let's see what these guys can do here.
Real close action up here in the front.
Yeah, I got Nate LaFleur blipping out a little bit with the 2 car inside him here. These guys are ex-teammates. See how they race around each other.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
See the 2 cars staying as low as he can, giving those outside cars as much space as he can without killing his line here. He's still making the inside line work, as James Skelton is definitely liking that clean air.
And see Mark Brasher's moving his way up to the front as well.
Yeah, up to 7th position after getting that car repaired. And yeah, you're right, he's on a mission too. Wants to get out front of all this stuff so he can't possibly be collected in something before the end of the race here.
Yeah, that's really where he needs to be. I mean, if I had a preference, I'd rather be up front. You know, I mean, who wouldn't? I guess, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to be involved in somebody else's incident. If you're gonna wreck or you're gonna get in trouble, you want to be, you know, the only person you want to blame at the end of the day is yourself. So.
You know, Jamie, speaking of being out front, I heard in the rumor mill that you may be making an appearance next week at Daytona.
Yeah, that's rumor has it that I'll be driving your car, the 6. So excited to see what that paint scheme's going to be. I'm looking forward to driving for you, and can't wait to get out there and turn some laps with these guys.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. We've been working hard on the car all week, so we'll see how much speed she's got at Daytona. And you know, we started way back, me, you, and Mike, a couple other guys back in the day, and it's good to have you drive my car next week. So it's gonna be exciting to see what you can do there for sure.
Yeah, it should be fun to watch for sure. Do you have to pick yourself? Is that the rule?
That's what the other drivers are telling me. It's that, and I'm already having that I got to search for some friends out there because it didn't sound like anybody wants to draft with me either. So.
Well, if you have to pick yourself, then I don't think anybody's going to draft with you. That could be an issue. But it's Daytona, man. You gotta have to find a dancing partner if you want to have any chance.
Well, yeah, Jamie, I'll tell you, Jamie. You know, it's tough. I've had some trouble with Daytona myself finding a partner. So, you know, they know the car's got speed. They know who we are. So, and they know you're good at it. So, I'm sure somebody, when it comes go time, they're going to need to go with you if they want to go to the front. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx them or anything because I mean I feel really confident going in there. You know, I'd like to ride with those high rev guys. It's been a while since I turned some laps at Super Speedway with them, so I'd like to take over the high rev guys. But you know, honestly, you got to go with to your guys' point, who's going to dance with you. So whoever wants to partner up, we'll bring it to the front, hopefully.
Joshua Buckley to the lead. Nice clean pass underneath there of James Skelton, working real hard to get out front.
I want to mention he didn't even get a chance to turn a lap. Had an unsafe pit exit during qualifying, and you know, NAVSCAR officials decided that he reset his car and determined that he wouldn't turn a lap. So It's good. He came all the way from the rear, so it's good to see him up front. That car's definitely got a lot of speed, so it's going to be interesting to see how long he can stay up here for sure.
Yeah, drivers are still getting used to that new qualifying format. Gotta be careful exiting pits. Make sure you keep your stuff clean, and you don't want to get any flags. Just definitely set you back. But he's proven that you know, starting in the rear is not going to keep him back.
I'm kind of been following Bruce Potter here in that 959. He's got some damage on that right-hand side of the car, you know, but he's able to maintain speed here. In fact, he's giving Jeff Fowle a fit back there, just sitting on that back end of his car trying to get around him. Of course, with that damaged car, I'm not really sure if he's going to have enough car there to get around him anyway, but he's definitely in his mirror. And then Keith Haney right behind him, so it's a trio.
Just going to our Twitch chat, we do have a driver asking about their qualifying rules specifically, and yeah, this season we changed up our format. Normally, last season we ran a single car qualifying, so it was 2 laps, single car, and then we switched it to open qualifying, where we wanted everybody on the track, but you could just run as many laps as you can in 10 minutes. And we found that drivers were resetting their cars. They would wreck, but reset and get another lap in. And we thought that was just a little too unrealistic. So then we changed to a new rule that we have open car qualifying, 10-minute qualifying session, but cars are not allowed to reset or get tires or do any type of adjustments on their car. So once they leave their pit boxes, they got to go. They got to stay on the track. They're not allowed to enter their pit box again or reset their car. If they do so, they have to call it a qualifying session. So it keeps cars on their toes. They can't run into the wall and expect to be able to reset and go out and turn a quicker lap. So makes it a little bit more realistic. It's kind of hard to manage, but guys have come to know what they have to do, and I think it provides for a more without saying unfair, but more fair environment for all drivers. So it definitely makes it a little bit more realistic.
You know, one guy we haven't talked about tonight a whole lot, Mike, is and Dustin, is the 904 of Jordan Peck. And Jordan, he's putting a heck of a fight up tonight.
Yeah, he's been up. Oh, 82 gets loose.
Able to control it though.
Yep, and then back up on the track and collects a 905 of Craig Sykes. Tough break there.
Oh, that was tough. Let's see if we can watch a replay on that. Yeah, it looks like he was losing this car for half the track, trying to get it collected. See as he goes down underneath the 8 car here.
And we talked about that earlier, though. Those guys put it down on that apron and come back out, and that's exactly what happened. It just disrupted the car. He got loose and was never able to gain control of the car.
Yeah, that sucks for Sykes. I think that's going to probably end his race here.
And depending if Abbott took his quick repair when he got into Josh, that may be ending his night as well.
Let's take a look on board here with the 82 car. Definitely drops down onto that shoulder, and it's really that transition that can upset the car.
And the thing of it is he's working on his teammate.
Yeah. That might have, been his motivation on going down there so low in the first place, is just trying to give the 8 as much room as he can. And looks like he is now in his pit box there. I don't know if he towed or not, but I believe he's probably getting work done.
So we should have somebody that's going to get a lap back here, I believe. Maybe Will Long, maybe?
Someone for sure here.
Well, it's not going to be Mike Abbott. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Will Long there. Just take this time to remind guys, go check out our website. You can check us out at NAVSCAR.com. We got information about the current series, point standings, you know, how to join us.
I'm a big fan of it.
How to join us and such like that. Check us out at NAVSCAR.com, and you can definitely get some more information about the league there. Also, check out our sister league, RedLightLeague.com. More information about them and when they run is available there. They're, you know, like a bunch of our guys race over there as well Monday nights. They don't broadcast or anything currently, but they're always looking to have some people on board. You can apply to both leagues through the website. Right now, though, that I'm pretty sure we are both under a new applicant hold just through our chase. But we're both going to be starting up new seasons in the new year. So keep an eye on the website, our Facebook, and such like that for more information as we decide to make that public. So James Skelton riding on board, you can hear him. He's definitely got that clutch in and coasting. He's got it out now, so maybe not.
So I know this is a nitpick thing, but I'm just curious what you guys' preferences are. So I use Teams or voice attack when I drive, and I cut the car off completely. I also have a push button for it too, but some of these guys don't cut the car off; they just put the clutch in. Is there? I think there's a savings there.
I think it comes. Well, there's definitely a savings of riding around with the clutch in versus riding around in fourth gear. But I think it comes down to your equipment. You know, I've got a button box with a kill switch and an ignition, and you know, if you set up TeamSpeak properly, you can do it with that too. So, you know, for me, it's just reach up, fill the engine, turn the ignition back on, and then just ride around with the engine off, and then when I want to start the engine, just release the clutch. But if these guys don't have that kind of equipment, then it's a little bit harder to do. So you'll find that they just throw the clutch in, and it's a little bit better than riding around in gear.
Yeah, Mike, I'm like you. I'm definitely the one that likes to take advantage of cutting the engine off and trying to get full power off and clutch back in. So definitely different ways these guys do them. Even you know, as we go on into a later run, getting in the corners, depending where we're at as we're going back to green, I'll use that clutch getting in the corners as well. So.
Keith Haney up front didn't look like he got a start that he would have liked there, but it looks like he is still managing to keep that position as the cars are getting a little bit bunched up behind him.
Yeah, one we hadn't talked much about tonight's Nelson Riviera, and he's, you know, going for the lead right here as they're free line on the front stretch. Boys had a pretty sporty pit stop there to get him up in the third position. So good stop by them boys, and he's definitely taking the lead here. We'll see how long he can stay.
Yeah, that was a hell of a pass right there. Saw those guys fighting in front of him, and he's like, "If you guys are gonna fight, I'm gonna jump down on that shoulder and pass you guys along the start finish there." Made it work.
You know, don't look now, but 946 and Mark Bratcher, you know, after having that early troubles, looking for the third spot here fourth spot underneath Nate LaFleur. So.
Almost got into him there. He looked like he was going to come up the track.
Yeah, that's what cautions does. You know, it gets these guys all bunched up and see some pretty aggressive racing. Everyone's got fresh tires. They don't have to. You know, you get fresh tires and you feel like you're Superman, man. You can put that car anywhere. You can turn it and it turns, and it just makes you real racy. Got to remember though, 2-3 laps and those tires go away, and then you got to kind of step back a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about the 904 Jordan Beck. I mean, he's very sporty tonight. He's part of that hooligan plan, and I tell you what, those guys have put some good speed under him as he looks to the top side of Bradshaw on the front stretch here. Really got some good speed in that car tonight.
Yeah, he's having a great run this evening as he looks to the outside of Bradshaw to take that position.
I think
I
that
actually touched a little bit in one, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. No damage, but good racing by these guys.
You think that high line's going to come in a little bit as rubber gets laid down?
I do. You know, I think last season we were here in iRacing. I think that top line was a lot better than it is now. So I think it's capable of coming in. We'll just have to see if guys are going to start to move up there, and especially as longer runs go, for sure.
Yeah, it takes 1 or 2 guys to go up there and start putting the rubber down. And once 1 or 2 guys moves up and shows that they can keep speed and keep it off the wall, you find a bunch of guys move up with them.
We are seeing Buckley run a little bit on the higher line, or maybe the middle line, like you had referred to earlier, Dustin.
Yeah, you know, I tell you what, yeah, some of these guys, unfortunate, you know, Calvin Allison couldn't make it out to the race tonight, but you know, he talked about a while back about finding speed in the middle, that middle groove at Atlanta as well as Charlotte. So Chicago a little bit different than those type tracks, but still in the same family. So you know, that middle groove is definitely got some speed, and these guys are going to test that all night for sure.
So I find it interesting the 922 of Nelson Rivera is now kind of fallen back a little bit. We've got James Skelton and John Furshing putting passes on him. Nate's looking like he wants to be next. Do you think maybe he used his tires up a little bit too much, trying to you know, make those fancy moves and getting out front early?
You know, we talked about that earlier, and I'm not sure, but I tell you what, we've seen some of these guys be pretty aggressive like that as well, and be able to hold it. So it just depends. Sometimes you get in a rhythm and you get out of it. You start backing up a few spots, so we'll keep an eye on him and see if he can continue to keep himself up front. Yeah,
that said, he's now putting the pressure back on, and he's looking on that 15 again. So maybe he just got a little bit out of rhythm, and it's like he's recovering quite nicely here. John Furshing looking on the inside of there. James going to tuck back in. Didn't get enough of a run to get a nose in, so he's just tucking back in here. That really kind of let the 922 suck up there.
Yeah, and the 2 and the 81 are in the hunt as well. And I think, you know, honestly, that 81, it makes me real nervous with him running that apron. Not so much that it disrupts the car, because I think he's kind of used to it. That's his thing. It's the fact of when he comes back onto the track. He really whips that thing to the outside, and without, it's kind of like throwing caution to the wind as we're watching it. I know he's not doing that, but it's just it's really aggressive. Can really disrupt the guy behind him as well.
As he drives down, looking to make 2. He stays low that time. Definitely showing some speed though.
Yeah, he made it work that time, but you know, there's a little give and take going on, and I think he's on the taking side right now. You know, Nelson's right there. I'm Nelson's a pretty aggressive driver too. I mean, you know, he's clean and knows how to wheel that car. But it's going to get interesting as, like you had talked about, he may be taking being a little bit aggressive on those tires right now. I'm not sure if that's going to pay out for him if this goes green for a while.
Well, we got a lap car coming up here as the cars are going real hard on each other, too wide, but they're going to have to get back in line as they go to pass this lap car. I'm not sure who that is. It's like the 72. Yeah, he'll stay out of the way there, but it's going to give these guys a little bit of a moment here.
As Buckley looks to the inside of the 86, the skeleton. Running real tight coming out of 3 and 4. Oh, we got a car in the infield.
Just catch who it is?
Not yet. It was Mike Ebbett.
Take a quick replay here. Yeah, Mike Abbott got tight, bounced it off the wall. Does a good job saving it and prevents the caution from coming out, but did drive through the infield. Two car gets real high up against the 922 there. Narrowly avoids an incident.
You know, and we've talked about Abbott a couple times during the race tonight. You know, as Dustin would say, he's probably looking for speed in that car anywhere he can get. You know, I don't know what's been happening in the garage and what's the mood at the shop as they're getting their cars set up and getting ready to get out there week after week. But he's you know, Mike is a former champion of ours. He knows how to get it done around here. He just you know, we see drivers go in peaks and valleys, and you know, it definitely hasn't you know, been the season that the 82 was looking for.
No, but they might be doing some testing and getting their game plan ready for next season. You know, we're running a super long season next year, which are challenging for a full championship, so I'm sure these guys are thinking about that and trying to get a game plan together and seeing where they can really come back and shine next year. Looks like we got 2 packs up front. We got 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6. So you can tell that the tires have kind of come away now and guys are kind of spreading out. They're not as racy as they were. But they're definitely staying in these 2 little groups here. Did we talk about green flag or what the fuel run was? How many laps these guys can go?
Not nice, and I don't know if it's even comparable. But we were looking anywhere from 23 to 27 with the trucks on Monday, so. Maybe get a little bit better gas mileage here, I'm not really sure, or just more laps, and I'm not too sure.
Jordan Beck looks like he got into the wall a little bit, or possibly just got a little bit loose there. I definitely think tires are now falling off, and these guys are really having their handful here.
Yeah, I would agree, and Buckley
just bounces it, bounced off the wall there.
You know, but it's one of those things, you know, you remember Kyle Busch and how many times he snuck that car outside the wall, and Buckley goes around in the inside, keeps it off the wall and back out on the track, but he's definitely slow.
Yeah, he might just want to come in and get the tires, but he's going to try and get back out on the track and keep it up to speed here. Here he's coming in, yeah, definitely hurting for some tires. So.
I was going to say, some guys can do that. Sometimes some guys can actually bounce it off the wall and still keep going. Definitely not the case here for Buckley.
Yeah, he took it 2 corners in a row, so that's just a tight car because of the tires falling off, and he was off the gas through the second half of that corner and just was not able to keep it off. I'm sure we're going to start seeing guys come down pretty soon. I know these guys are going to be begging for them.
Yeah, Buckley takes 4 tires. No quick repair. He's definitely got doesn't have damage. He's definitely got a stripe on that car. So, and we're seeing Bratcher on pit road too.
Yeah, I think pit road's about to get pretty busy. Is just hearing some of the guys talk over the radio. Plum coming this time. Leaders coming this time.
Got a car in the grass. Looks like that's Jordan Beck.
Yeah, not sure, guys, but John Fershing got in there pretty hot. Don't know if he got a speed penalty. We'll have to check, but might be a tough break there for your leader. And the caution comes out.
It's going to work out for all the guys on pit road. They'll be able to get their services and get back out. Hopefully they don't get put a lap down. Did anybody see what the caution came out for?
I thought it was for Will Long.
Seeing if I can take a look here. William Long's looking to come low. Lets the car by on the outside. Does blip out though. I lost him, so.
Yeah, and I did too, and I think that's maybe what it could have cost it.
Could be wrong, that might not have been it, but I can't seem to find the reason for the caution there. Dustin, maybe you want to go do some pit reporting there, see if anybody admits to spin it out or anything?
Yeah, be right back.
Thank you, sir. So we got 45 laps to go. I think that's outside of fuel run, or it's definitely outside of fuel run. I'm not sure if they can go on one more, possibly. So I think that caution is going to play a couple. I don't know where everyone's going to end up here as we get back in line, but I'm showing Nate LaFleur in the lead with a bunch of cars in front of him.
Yeah, guys, it sounds like down on pit road, the 946, Mark Bratcher leaving pit road had some trouble, and I guess NAVSCAR officials decided to throw the caution. So it's going to put quite a few guys a lap down or catch them behind it. So we'll see as these things cycle through who's it going to affect the most.
Well, looks like right now I've got Nate LaFleur as being the leader, so everybody in front of him is going to get the wave around. Assuming that iRacing handles this situation, it typically doesn't like it when caution comes out and there's a lot of drivers on the pit lane.
Could Abbott get one of his laps back? Is he one of these cars that's going to be coming around?
Don't think he will get a lap back because Joshua Buckley seems to be the first car lap down.
Yeah, but he'll get a wave around here if he stays out,
yeah.
So we'll see.
Might be the thing to do, you know, even if he only gets one back. These cars get bunched up. Mikey called it earlier. I mean, it just puts them real close going into these corners, and we're getting down to the latter part of the race, and things are about ready to get interesting.
So we should see the lights go off on the pit car here, and we should see cars start driving by, so it'll be interesting to see how they line up.
Hey guys, I want to tell you, just, you know, I talked about it earlier. The 15 of John Fershing got in there pretty hot as Nate LaFleur, you know, was pushing pretty hard on a green flag pit stop. I believe he did have to somehow maybe serve a penalty to go to the end. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, he might catch a break here and wave his car around because they did take service on that car. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But maybe a good break there for the 15.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you speed on your way into the box, you get a 15-second hold, correct?
Most of the time.
And if you speed on the way out, you get a black flag.
Correct.
So we'll see if it allows him to serve that 15-second under caution, and hopefully it doesn't make him come back in. Because the caution would have come out when he took his service. Alright, so if my numbers are correct right now, I got Jordan Beck as the first car, a lap down. Last car on the lead lap right now is Mark Bratcher. Mike Abbott I'm still showing as 2 laps down. And the car's in. Cars are still trying to catch up here to that tail end of the lead lap here. We only got 3 cars on the outside. Well, that was a tough restart for that outside row.
Yeah, and Raymond Edge in that 72 just got a lot of damage on that car. Just kind of pulls off to the side and lets the guys go.
You know, guys with 40 to go, we hadn't talked about how long these guys are going to pit stop. Well, I'm sure they got to stop at least one more time. What do you think these guys, is it go time yet, or what do you think?
Well, especially if you got caught in that, you know, being a lap or tail end of the lead lap now. I think you're right. I think it is go time. We're seeing people up front that we haven't seen up front. We got Ricky Goodman in 4th. We got Brian Wynn in 5th. These guys are the highest they've been all night, so everybody's going to be racing back to the front here. To see Kevin Cochran able to recover from that first incident up to 9th place, or 6th place right now. Kevin has come on board as our, I guess we'll call him our social media director. He's going to be posting race recaps online and making sure our website is full of content and our Facebook is lively. So good to have him on board.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin does a great job in that role, and I'm glad to have him on board here and see what enhancements he can make to what we already have. So good to have him on board for sure.
Josh Buckley trying to make his way through the field. He's in all kinds of traffic.
Yeah, Josh Buckley is now the first car a lap down, but he is not on the lead lap, so he just wants to make sure he stays, you know, the first car a lap down in case a caution does come out. He obviously doesn't want to be the one to bring out a caution, but he's still racing pretty hard right now. Knows he's faster than most of these cars and wants to get back up front.
Yeah, him and Bruce Potter there got pretty close.
He knows he's got Jordan Beck right behind him, and Jordan Beck is running for that position, so he wants to make sure he doesn't get held up by any of these cars. He wants to get out in front of them just in case that caution does come out.
Tell you what, the 86 of James Skeleton does have a good long run car here tonight, so tell you what, if any of these guys plan on making a bid for him tonight, they need to get on it, because he'll jump away from him here pretty quickly.
Yeah, he has opened up that lead to about 0.3 of a second. Nate's not going to let him pull too far ahead as he's closing that lead as we speak.
yeah, the 9 and the 2 are just going at it back and forth in every one of these corners. It's getting a little crazy out there.
You gotta, people might not realize that, the 2 is running this way for a reason. He's not far ahead of Jordan Beck, so he's looking at that mirror, just wants to make sure that he stays ahead of that guy. Especially when you have your box up, your relative, where it tells you, who's around you. Right now, he'd be showing all the drivers around him in red, except the car 2 cars back, and he'd be in white. So he sees that, and he's just like, I gotta go. I don't want to race these guys hard, but I don't want to be caught in a position where I'm going to lose that lucky dog if a caution does come out. So far it looks like Jordan Beck is being held up by the 9 car, so the 2's got a little bit of a lead over that second place lead, or second car lap down, I should say. Jumping back up front, Nate LaFleur is diving down to the track, trying to see where he's faster than the leader. But you mentioned it, Dustin. No, Dustin stepped out of the room, but he did mention it earlier that he does have that long run car, so Nate hopefully isn't burning up his tires trying to get around him here.
Yeah, it would definitely make things interesting in a long run, because when they start falling off, every corner that you take is a little bit different than the previous one. And sure, you could say that about any time when you're out on the track and going into any corner, but here the tires really fall off. I mean, you might go into 1 and 2 and it feels good. You go into 3 and 4, and the next thing you know, you're plowing the field and heading up the track. So
yeah, we should have really, just riding on board right now with Nelson Rivera, you'll tell as the tires wind down, you're really off the throttle much more than you were at the beginning of a run. At the beginning of the run, you're almost blipping the throttle, you're back on it real quick, and you can keep the car off the wall. But as the tires go off, you got to get, you're backing up your corners further, you're getting off the throttle quicker, as Nelson's looking underneath.
Yeah, looking underneath Nate there. Again, he gets loose.
Oh man!
Disrupts the car.
Yeah, it's the second time we've seen a different driver, have the exact same incident, and I think people forget what kind of difference in banking there is there, and when you run out of tires, man, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all. Good job saving it though. That could have been a repeat of what we saw with the 82.
Yeah, I would agree, and I bet Rivera wishes he could have had that one back and to do over again, because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have done that. Brian Wynn, he's having a heck of a run tonight too.
Yeah, he's got that CRC WOW Racing machine, currently sitting in 4th place.
Yeah, when we get ready for this next pit stop, Mike, I think that's where it's going to get interesting. We're going to see the guys go with full tank of gas, but I have a feeling somebody's going to gamble and go with 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we will see that, but I don't know if it's going to play off, man. I think coming down to the end of the race, 4 tires I think is going to be quicker. But you're right. I think we're going to see someone take 2 for sure. We're about halfway from that beginning of this run. We're down to 24 laps to go. I believe we went to green with 44 laps to go.
As Buckley gets into the wall and saves it, goes to the inside of the track.
Yeah, this is almost a complete repeat of what happened to Buckley on his last long run. Those tires come off and the car pushes up, and now he's doing everything he can to gain that position back, but Jordan Beck drives around. So right now Josh Buckley is not the lead car on a lap down, so if caution comes out, he will be trapped a lap down. But I think it just shows what kind of tire management, why it's really important at a track like this.
Yeah, as we got a couple of guys coming down pit road this time, so definitely going to be their final pit stop probably for the night unless we have another yellow. So.
Mark Bratcher sitting in his box, takes 4 tires back, getting out on the track here. Let's see what these guys do. James Skelton is pulling into his box. See that right side go up. It's like so far everybody is taking 4. I think I think that car's a handful without tires. These cars got to be careful getting up to speed. We got a bunch of cars just pulled around them there, and these guys got to keep it down on the shoulder until they get back onto the backstretch. Brent Rogers picking up a couple bonus points, leading a couple laps.
Yeah, he is. You know, but I always struggle with this, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I think I've committed to, you know, either pitting when the leader pits or pitting as soon as I can. It never seems to work out pitting, you know, trying to stick it out a lap or two and trying to make it back out there. It just never seems to work. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think once that first car takes the shot, comes down and gets tires, I think everybody got to come down pretty quickly. You know, on a track like this, the lap times between bad tires and good tires are going to be a lot, so you can't be letting people gain on you by pitting early. So far, we've had some pretty clean stops. It's starting to cycle through as Keith Haney pulls off onto the shoulder, looking to come down for his stop.
Ooh, and Nate LaFleur misses his pit box, has to back it up.
That's going to hurt him.
Only takes 2, and he's out.
Knew somebody was going to make that gamble. We'll see how it plays out for him. Ricky Goodman on his last stop took 2 as well.
He probably didn't have a choice now, you know, since he missed his spot. But
Right, yeah, that's true. So I believe the last car to lead or to pit was Keith, and now Ricky Goodman is in the lead.
Ooh, and Nate LaFleur into the wall.
Oh no. No caution though.
No caution. He's able to maintain that he is definitely not at speed anymore. He sounds like he's got some pretty significant damage there on that vehicle.
Yeah, that motor's gone sour on that, so tough break for that 81.
You know, that's just how quick something can throw you off. He missed his pit stop. He had to probably take 2. I don't know if that was what he had planned on going, but, you know, he gets back out there and he doesn't even get all the way around the track. Comes out of 4 and hits the wall.
Ricky Goodman's about to put the 555 another lap down here. He's got to be careful. He's got James Skelton right behind him. But Ricky Goodman, that's quite a showing this late in the race. Taking that 2-tire stop, making a judgment call, and it's right now got him out front.
Tricky Ricky. Yeah, he's definitely got some company. Oh, his Butch Frazier goes to the infield. Able to collect it, no caution, real slow though, and he's coming up to speed. He's going to keep it down on the apron.
Good job on all these drivers keeping it together and keeping that caution from coming out. 4 car is you know, now sitting in 3rd, but still, it might have been a good call to take 2. We'll see where he finishes. 15 laps to go.
You know, these Toyotas have been looking real strong. You know, James Skelton running that Toyota. You know, I know Mark Bratcher's Toyota driver. Toyotas have really seemed to be on it this season.
Yeah, I don't have any comments on that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. The Toyotas have been fast, man. You know, I'm a Chevy guy at heart, but I tell you what, my wife drives a Camry hybrid, man, and the fuel mileage on these things are awesome. So, you know, it doesn't really relate to this, but, you know, Toyota's done a good job, so it's good to see the success they've had this year for sure.
So right now we got 12 laps to go. Nelson Rivera, second place. Now, tell me, guys, what are you thinking right now? You're in second place. Are you saving your tires, waiting to the end to make a move? Are you trying your hardest to get around them right now? What's going through your mind?
I'm trying to go by him.
Yeah, I got to get there. I got to do what I can. Tires are, at this point, you're going to be pushing each other as hard as you can. So tires probably going to be pretty equal. So you got to just got to go get him and get hungry. And I'm telling you what, if you know, you always like to be the leader, man. But I wouldn't mind being in second there. You know, pressuring that guy.
Inside.
Pressuring that guy to see make him make a mistake and being ready to pounce.
Butch is having the challenge tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, guys, Butch Frazier's found himself on the inside of the track again. Just can't keep that car on the track and happy.
10 laps to go. Let's go over the top 5 right now. James Skelton is leading just about 2/10 in front of Nelson Rivera. Ricky Goodman third place. Ryan Wynn about 1.9 seconds behind Ricky Goodman in fourth, and Brent Rogers about 5 seconds behind Ryan Wynn. So right now everyone's trying to get up there, maybe race for a top 3 finish. Ricky's trying to hold on to that third place. Brian Wynn sees him and he's itching to get his first top 3 finish of the season as well.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened there with Mark Bratcher. Bratcher was actually running 5th there and gave up 2 spots to Rogers and the Fershing Jr. I don't know if they just are a little bit better on tires or what. But
so let's reverse it. You're in first place right now. You're James Skelton. You got 8 laps to go. He's 2/10 behind you. What are you thinking now?
Don't go on the apron, but both do.
Yeah. Man, it's that just seeing that loose, that rear end get a little bit loose coming off the apron. It's scary, man.
I was gonna say, and Nelson knows what it's capable of, as he was a recipient of going down there and what happened. So it's got to be careful. It's this is too close here.
Once again, both drivers down on the apron.
And I think Nelson's really forced to be quite honest with you. He doesn't really have a choice. He's got to have that momentum. He's got to be able to carry that speed as we see a car to the outside of the leaders here. Looks like Nate LaFleur is going to make it interesting.
And Nate, I believe, definitely pit a little bit less laps than these guys. He's got some fresher tires and wants to use them right now. He's got to be careful. Don't want to get in the middle of first and second place racing here for position.
Yeah, and he's definitely causing these guys to take different lines and obviously affecting Nelson.
Yeah, that's exactly what James wants to happen, you know.
But James might be a recipient of it as well.
Yeah, he might just let him by here, though, and try and get back, keep his speed, and as he does here. That'd be a good heads-up play there by James.
Yeah, I think James was just fortunate enough to catch him when he was in the straightaway as opposed to the corner, because Nelson kind of got the bad end of that one.
Yeah, I'm sure Nelson's fuming right now, kind of just seeing that win maybe slip away from him here. He's still got a driver in between the two of them. He's got to get around.
Yeah, guys, while we're talking talking about the battle up front, you know, the 900 of Brian Wynn's made a podium spot, so it's good to see him up there, and he looks to be pulling away from the 4 of Ricky Goodman.
Once again, looks like the 86 just kind of steps by. Wants to make sure he keeps his lap times and faster than Nelson, but doesn't really care if he lets these guys by. Go ahead. John Fershing Jr. right now battling pretty hard with Brent Rogers. These guys are fighting position. Closest race on the track right here. Oh! Cowboy doing a little bit of drifting.
Yeah,
Saves
I see
it.
the smoke come out of the car there. Tires are hot.
Final lap. Looks like James is going to finish the race about a second in front of Nelson, but let's see who gets 4th, 5th, and 6th as these guys race real hard. The 8 goes into the wall. John Fershing Jr. is going to take 4th place. Top 3 are going to finish the way they were running on the track.
Yeah, I think if there was a couple more laps there, that was going to get real interesting.
And there you have it, our 1st, 2nd, 3rd place finishers. James Skelton finishes 1st place, Nelson Rivera 2nd, Brian Wynn will round out 3rd place here. Let's see if we can get our winner down. James, man, what a crazy race. You were pretty strong all race. Looked like you were conserving your tires there. Might have been a little bit of a handful to finish it, but you were able to finish, you know, with a pretty comfortable lead over Nelson. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, for the most part, you know, I just wanted to manage my race, stay up front, you know, be in the top 5, you know, stay out of trouble as much as I could, and then there at the end, I knew Nelson was pushing pretty hard. He was getting into the turns a little bit harder than me, but as long as I can kind of take his line away, I was hoping his tires would eventually fall off, and they finally did. So, man, it's a great time to finally get my first win in NAVSCAR here.
What was going through your head, man, with like 5 laps to go and you got lap cars sitting in front of you? Or coming, well, sorry, they weren't even in front of you. They were racing around you guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I could time it as best as I could, that they wouldn't hurt my line too much. One time Nate was coming, I blocked him the first time. He would have hurt my line too much. I couldn't remember what turn it is, but eventually I got a little bit more separation from Nelson, and you know, I let Nate go, I let Will go, and it never really hurt my gap. And I stepped, you know, by the end there, I was starting to gap Nelson a little bit, so my nervousness went down just a little bit.
So was it pretty, yeah, so I mean, question for you, I mean, was it difficult being in those corners, being that close to the other drivers? We've seen some guys have to check up a little bit, you know, when the car was in front of them, and when they were taking a little bit different line. I mean, your race through the whole evening, kind of take us through it.
Yeah, you know, I think in the beginning, I think there was a little checkup and had to get out of the gas, but for the most part, everybody I was driving around, John, Nate, you know, Nelson, they could hold their line pretty well, and I was confident that, you know, they wouldn't, you know, go in the corner too hard and rub up against me. But for the most part, I was pretty conservative, you know, mostly through the race. There was a few times I wanted to get the lead, get some laps, you know, and then I'd kind of burn my tires out. I knew that last restart, you know, I could go about 20 laps, 15, 20 laps, and then I'd pit, so I ran a little bit harder, and I wanted to kind of push the pace a little bit. And then towards the end, once I pitted, I kind of checked up a little bit, and I tried to save my stuff as much as I could. And Make sure Nelson couldn't get around me.
Did you experience any of that looseness down on the apron? We've seen plenty of drivers this evening get loose, get wrecked, and some save it, some not. But what was your thoughts about running down on that apron coming into one?
Yeah, going into one, I never really had an issue with the apron. I never got loose. There was one time going through the front stretch, if you're right around the start-finish line, if you're kind of teetering between the apron and the racing service, you can definitely get loose. So if you're around the apron on the front stretch, you want to dive down, right out of 4, and then come up, going into 1. But I never had an issue going into 1. Is that where some of the people were having their issues?
Oh yeah, we've seen plenty of people go down on the apron, come back out, going into 1, need to get to that high line, and then once they, make that transition from the apron to the track, just totally disrupt the car and get them loose. I mean, it happened a couple times to Mike Abbott, a couple times to Butch Frazier. I mean, the list is long on that one tonight. Yeah,
that never ran into that. Only one time during the race, I don't know, I had some cars around me. I don't know if I was checking my relative, and went through the start-finish line. I was kind of teetering, and I had to get out of the gas. But other than that, I never got loose.
Well, James, congratulations on the win, and I don't want to say anything without looking at the points, but you should be pretty close to the lead for the championship. So I'll get those points updated on the website soon. But congratulations again on your win.
Yeah, most definitely, guys. Thank you all again for everything.
Yeah, we'll see you next week on the track.
It was at Daytona, right? Or was it
That's right.
Daytona, oh boy, you got to survive it.
All right, let's get our second place finisher Nelson Rivera down here for a little bit of an interview here. Nelson, second place, man. Crazy battle the last 20 laps. You and James were, neck and neck for a bunch of it. Looks like some lap cars kind of spoiled your day. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I thought I had him there at the end. I know he was sliding around, and so was I. I was just waiting for him to make a mistake, which he never did.
A couple drivers, actually, we noticed during the broadcast that a lot of guys were jumping down to that shoulder. You yourself were jumping down to the shoulder on the front stretch. Looked like a couple times through that transition back from the shoulder to the track, possibly upset the car. I think you might have got loose on one of those occasions. Can you tell us about that and how it felt for the night?
Yeah, I was trying to give enough room for the 81 who was on my outside, and when I came up the track, I had too much wheel into it, and I nearly ended my race right there. But luckily, I didn't hit anything. And after that, I was kind of gun shy doing the same thing, but I had no choice there on the closing laps to run the apron and follow James through there.
Yeah, we were definitely talking about that. We even commented during the race. I really didn't think you had an option. I mean, this track isn't one that can give you an advantage by running a different line. You really, if you're in close proximity to another car, you really gotta take that same line as that car in front of you. But overall, great night, great race for you. You kind of made your way through some traffic there. You weren't always sitting up front, so you had to go through some adversity. I mean, how was you were pretty close to some wrecks tonight. I mean, your thoughts on the action on the track?
Yeah, the first half of the race was really frustrating. I had a problem fueling the car. I had to come down and make an extra pit stop under, I believe it was the second yellow, and that put us behind. So to finish second, I was pretty lucky.
Well, you have to talk to those boys in the pit crew and get them some extra training going into Daytona, where you're definitely going to need a fast pit crew to get you out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, congratulations on the second place finish. Dustin, you got anything to add?
No, that's it. Just thanks for the broadcast, and I want to thank my girlfriend who's actually watching tonight for the first time.
Awesome. We like hearing about new viewers. Well, thanks again, Nelson.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next week at Daytona.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, third place finisher Brian Wynn. Let's get him down here. Ryan, third place. Good to see you on the podium this week. Tell us about your race.
Well, it took long enough for me to come meet you guys up here, but my race started off actually kind of poorly. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I spun out like pretty early in the race, saved it, and I went through the grass and was riding around last. But we just kind of plugged away, used some pitch strategy, and made my way up through.
What do you think what do you attribute that top 3 finish? Like you said, you had a struggle first half of the race. What was the turning point? What got you up there so you can actually battle for third? I know that with like 20 to go or maybe 25 to go, you did some hard racing with Ricky Goodman and was able to kind of clinch that podium.
Well, I didn't get a whole lot of practice this week leading up to this. For my day job, working at Team CRC, we race radio control race cars all over the country, and we have our first big national of the year. I leave in the morning, so I've been getting ready for that, burning the midnight oil, and I have not been on iRacing at all for the last week or so. So it just took me a while to get back into the rhythm. Chicagoland's my favorite track. It's where I got my first official win, so I do run pretty well here. It just kind of suits my style.
Yeah, I got to ask you though, Brian. I mean, during the race, we were hearing a lot of guys complain about the car falling off. Tires being an issue. Kind of in a run, where were you seeing it kind of just start letting go, and you're having to drive that maybe a little bit higher line, or the car starting to plow a little bit in that front?
It was really right about halfway through. It would just kind of, one lap you'd be fine, the next lap you come in and the front end would just give out, so you'd have to start backing your corners up and rolling the centers. But luckily I got a feeling for when it came on and just adjusted my style based upon that.
Yeah, because that always makes it interesting, especially when if you're fortunate enough to notice it when there's nobody around you, but when you happen to notice it and you're actually underneath somebody, that's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I heard some chatter in the room. It sounded like that happened to a few guys where their car would just give up and they'd be under somebody, and there was a lot of guys. The guys were pretty good tonight with give and take, but it sounded like that I got fairly lucky for once.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish, man, and heading off into Daytona. You looking forward to that?
No, I am I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else in the league, but I'm a true rookie. I only started iRacing like in the beginning of July, and I had never driven an A car before this league, so I have never done a restrictor plate race. I haven't done any of this stuff, so I know John and Nate, we're going to do some practicing together to try to work on me, because right now for our team I'm not really much help, but we'll get it together. Once I get back from Cleveland, Ohio, starting on Monday, we'll be hitting it hard, getting ready for Wednesday.
A couple tips for Daytona, man. Put your foot on the gas, don't touch the brake, be smooth, and you'll do fine.
Stay away from the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jamie, you probably don't want to pick me, because I've never done any restrictor plate racing at all.
Well, I'll be out there with you, so I'm gonna leave the booth for an evening and drive Dustin's car for him. So I'll be out there for Daytona.
Very good.
Well, thanks again, man, and we'll see you next week.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up the first race of the chase, guys. Final thoughts?
Well, I would say if I was going to throw some thoughts in there real quick, I think I'd have to look and see who made it on the outer edge, meaning who didn't do so well that was actually in the chase. I mean, there's only 4 races in the chase, and as a result, you don't have a lot of leeway to have a bad night. And so if you find yourself in the back part of the points, those are the guys that are probably going to, that I'm thinking about of how they're going to strategize to get themselves back up there in those points. James Skelton going into the chase here is gonna, I don't want to say he's got a pass by any means, but he's definitely got the catbird seat, and all he's got to do is keep his equipment clean. It's these guys that are now feel like they're behind the curve, if you will, and got to do something extreme to get themselves back up there, which is going to make Daytona even more interesting.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I'm looking forward to getting the numbers crunched and getting that standings posted for our viewers. Tune in early next week. We'll have our chase results for you, or you can check our website out, NAVSCAR.com, and we will have the results posted there tonight or tomorrow morning. Dustin, buddy, you enjoy that race? Oh, Dustin looks like he's back. Dustin, Any comments?
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties. Couldn't hear you guys there for a few. So, yeah, man, good race overall. Looking forward to Daytona. Definitely kind of excited, like I said, about Jamie being in the car, and I'm looking forward to that one. You know, everybody calls it a wild card, and a lot of people don't like it, but that's usually because they're not good there, unfortunately. But yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to that place. It's definitely going to shake the points up. I think a lot of guys are going to do well there, and some aren't. So we'll have to tune in next week and check them out. But I'm excited.
I agree. It's going to make for good TV, and you know, if I would classify myself as any type of driver, it would be a super speedway driver. I do like those. Looking forward to the show that the guys put on, and Jamie, man, you're gonna have to represent, buddy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about driving the 6 there for Dustin. I want to be able to put that sucker in victory lane if I could. I mean, that's call it a storybook, you know, finish if you will. But I'd definitely like to do it.
Well, that's going to do us for the broadcast tonight, and we look forward to seeing everybody back next week. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one.